Hi, I'm gonna talk about three different approaches to understanding organizational culture based on Edgar Sheen's work, What is Culture? So the approaches I'm gonna looking at are the survey research approach and the analytical descriptive approach and the ethnographic approach. Let me just start with a quick overview of the three uh, approaches. The first one, the survey research approaches uses survey and numerical ratings. It gives us a quick snapshot of employee moral and general satisfaction. So it's helpful when we want a broad sense of the organization's climate. The second one, the analytical descriptive approach, focuses on things like ritual, stories, norms, and symbols. So by breaking cultures into these smaller pieces, we can more easily notice patterns in how people interact and get work done. And the last one, the ethnographic approach is the most immersive. It involves watching people in their everyday routines and spending enough time with them to really understand their deeper belief and assumption. The survey research approach is great when we need a quick and measurable assessment. It's easy to distribute, and because it produces numbers, it helps the spot big picture trends. But the downside is that it only captures the surface. It doesn't go deep enough to uncover the underlying assumption of the culture. And it changes view. It tells us more about organizational climate, the true culture. So overall is helpful, but only to the point. The analytical descriptive approach takes a more structured look at culture. One of its strengths is that it clearly lays out cultural elements, which help us see routines and work patterns more easily. It also gives us insight into day-to-day behavior, which can be very practical. However, it still might not reach the deepest cultural layer. And while it does a good job describing what happened, it doesn't always explain why things happen the way they do. So this approach is sit in the middle, more detailed than survey, but less intense than the true ethnographic. The ethnographic approach is by far the most immersive. When you spend time observing people directly, you get a very rich, textured understanding of the culture. So you can see how culture is live in real time, and you can uncover assumptions that people themselves might not even be aware of. But the challenge is that it takes a lot of time and assess. So it's difficult to carry out in environments that are confidential, fast-paced, or constantly under deadline pressure. So while this approach offers the deepest insight, it isn't always practical. So now I'm gonna thinking about my own internship at my accounting firm. I believe the analytical descriptive approach fits best. The firm has very clear routines, especially during the tech tax season, and there are strong patterns in the workflows and review processes. So those visible habits make it easy to examine the culture through norms and shared practices. On the other hand, survey would only tell us how people are feeling at the moment, and they wouldn't reveal much about deeper cultural meaning. And the ethnographic approach simply isn't realistic in the deadline-driven environment where people are constantly moving. So the analytical descriptive approach gives the right balance between practically and meaningful insight. Organization culture matters because it shapes almost everything. It influences how people make decisions, how they communicate, and how they solve problems. It also affects teamwork by creating consistency expectation and shared way of working. And especially in fields like accounting, it even impacts client services. Things like reliability, professionalism, and overall quality. So a strong culture really improves communication, efficiency, and overall performance. In conclusion, each of the three approaches give us a different angle. The survey approach is fast but fairly surface level. The analytical descriptive approach gives us a structured and practical way to understand everyday patterns. And the ethnographic approach offers deeper side, but it demands time and access. So for my internship site, the analytical descriptive approach is the best fit because it matches the firm's routine and can really realistically be applied. So understanding culture is essential for improving how organizations function and how they support their people. So that's all. Thank you for listening.